Classification of natural resources. What are natural resources? These are the resources that exist naturally without the action of humankind. These are the resources that are found in the environment without the intervention of human beings. For example, air, water, soil, plants, etc. Natural resources can be classified into a variety of ways. On the basis of origin, they are classified into two types, that is biotic and abiotic resources. Biotic resources are those resources that are obtained from biosphere, for example, animal, plants, etc. And abiotic resources are those resources that come from non-living or non-organic matter, for example, temperature, light, water, etc. On the basis of recovery rate, these can be categorized as renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources are those resources that can be replenished naturally, though many renewable resources do not have a rapid recovery rate, but they can be depleted when overused. For example, air, water, wind, etc. Non-renewable resources are those natural resources that are available in limited quantity. These cannot be replenished or renewed in short duration. For example, coal, natural gas, petroleum, etc. Another way to classify natural resources is by splitting them in potential, actual reserves, developed or stock resources. What are potential resources? These are the resources which are currently not in use. We do have the technology to extract them, but their extraction has not started yet. For example, Rajasthan and Gujarat receive plenty of solar and wind energy, but the use has not developed properly. Now developed resources. These are the resources that are the one which are developed and surveyed for utilization and are currently in use. They are also called actual resources. For example, petroleum and liquid gas in Bombay High in Maharashtra. Stock is the resource for which presently we do not have the technology to extract them. For example, water consists of hydrogen and oxygen, which are inflammable, but we do not know the technology to extract energy from these. Now reserves resource. These are the resources which we are not extracting them at the present in spite of technology availability. These are stored to meet the future requirements. For example, storage of water in the dam to meet our energy requirement for generating electricity of future. 3 R's of environment basically refers to reduce, recycle and reuse. Firstly, I would like to tell you about reduce. The best way to manage waste is to not produce it. This can be done by being aware of few guidelines. For example, using a dishcloth instead of paper towels. Avoid overpackaged food or goods, especially ones packed with several materials such as foil, plastic, as they are very difficult to recycle. Buy durable goods, ones that are well built or that carry good warranties. Recycle. It is a series of steps that takes a used material and processes, remanufactures and sell it as a new product. This can be done by buying the product made of recycled material. Reuse. It makes economic and environment sense to reuse product. This can be done by practicing few steps as using ceramic cups instead of paper cups, use resealed containers rather than plastic wraps, etc.
Sustainable forest management. Forests. Plants to protect air and water, wilderness and wildlife are in fact plants to protect man. Forests are an important renewable resource and play a vital role in the economic development of a developing country like India since the existence of human civilizations. They are rich sources of energy, housing, firewood, timber and fodder, and they provide employment to a large section of rural population. They also play a critical role in maintaining ecological balance. Sustainable development implies use of natural resources such that the future generations can attain the same level of well-being as enjoyed by the present generation. Forest management deals with the organization of a forest property for its proper maintenance and utilization. Andhra Pradesh Forest Department, an administrative division of Andhra Pradesh government, is focused on protection, conservation and management of forests in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Forest policy in Andhra Pradesh from 1956. The Andhra Pradesh Forest Act was drafted and passed by the legislature in 1967. Under the Andhra Pradesh Forest Act of 1967, forest offences rules were introduced. Joint forest management. Even before introduction of joint forest management in India, community-based forest management was practiced in different parts of Andhra Pradesh. For example, in Karimnagar district, this system has existed since 1982-83. The Government of India had introduced people's participation in forest management in 1983, the Forest Department leasing out the degraded forest lands on tree patta to the weaker sections of the society for raising fuel wood plantation with a view to improve the performance under social forestry program. This was modified as reforestation of degraded forests under the family assistance method. The government of AP framed a revised forest state policy in 1993 to establish Vana Samrakshana Samitis. Vana Samrakshana Samitis. In Andhra Pradesh, local people living near forests are forming Vana Samrakshana Samitis, village organizations dedicated to forest restoration. In partnership with the State Forestry Department, more than 5,000 VSS are working to restore more than 1.2 million hectares of degraded forests. VSS share all of the non-timber forest products among themselves and receive all of the income from the harvest of timber and bamboo. Half of this income is set aside for the future development and maintenance of the forest. In this way, the long-term sustainability of the project is protected and government support is only required while the forest returns to a productive state. A large amount of area in Kurnool, Chittor and Nellore is devoted to forests while Khammam, Nizamabad and Warangal have the least share in the forest area of the state of Andhra Pradesh.
Importance and sustainability of wildlife. Importance of wildlife. Wildlife traditionally refers to undomesticated animal species but has come to include all organisms that grew or live wild in an area without being introduced by humans. Wildlife plays an important role in balancing the environment. Wildlife provides a stability to different processes of nature. Wildlife helps in maintaining the ecological balance of nature. Some wild organisms are used for scientific experiments such as to test effect of medicines. Wild plant products like food, medicine, timber, fibers, etc. are of economic value, and the wild animal products such as meat, medicines, hide, ivory, lac, silk, etc. are of tremendous economic value. Sustainability of wildlife. As we know, there are many uses of wildlife, and by products of wildlife, human can earn a good profit, and to make more and more profit, they are misusing wildlife. Our wildlife need to be conserved. Sustainability is not just about having enough resources for human beings, it's about sharing the planet and creating a livable future for all of us inhabiting the earth. so as to protect wildlife. Andhra Pradesh government has set up one tiger reserve, one elephant reserve, one biosphere reserve, 3 national parks and 13 wildlife sanctuaries in state. Gundla Brahmeswara wildlife in Andhra Pradesh is the only habitat for state for rare and highly endangered great Indian bustard. The blackbug, wolf, jackal, bonnet macaw, Russell viper and cobra are also found. Among the plant species, Andrographis bendomia is the most important species which is under threat as it is available only at Tirupati in the state. It is also threatened globally and is in the IUCN's red list. Pimpela tirupatiniensis is another plant found in Tirupati and Chittoor districts and is facing a habitat loss and is also in the IUCN's red list. Albizia thompsoni is listed as near threatened in IUCN's red list. The state is a proud possessor of some rare and endemic plants like Cycas bedomia, Pterocarpus stannilus, Terminalia pallida, Shore tellura, Shore tumbargia, Pisclotum nudium. Among its rich fauna, the double-banded or the Jerdon's courser, the golden gecko and the grey slender loris are some of the rare and endemic fauna of the state. The government has passed Wildlife Protection Act 1972 as amended in 1991, Andhra Pradesh Forest Act 1967 and the Forest Conservation Act 1980.
Energy. What are non-conventional sources of energy? The renewable energy sources like solar energy, wind energy are called non-conventional sources of energy. Types of non-conventional energy sources are nuclear or atomic energy. Nuclear energy is obtained by altering structures of atoms. Solar energy. Solar energy is produced by sun's light. Wind energy. Wind energy is use of wind to generate electricity. Wind turbines are used for this purpose. Biogas is a type of a biofuel that is naturally produced from the decomposition of organic waste. Tidal energy. Tidal energy is a form of a hydrocarbon or power that converts the energy obtained from tides into useful form of power, mainly electricity. Geothermal energy. When heat and electricity are produced by using heat inside the earth is called geothermal energy. Energy management. Let us see how Andhra Pradesh manages the available energy sources. Andhra Pradesh is ranked first in implementation of energy efficiency programs by World Bank. Implemented one of the largest solar pump set. It has planned 18,000 megawatt renewable energy by 2021 to 22. Installed power capacity addition plan from 13,600 to 29,000 by 2019. Over 1 crore LED bulbs distributed among program DELP. Planned waste to energy plants in 10 districts. Started 4 gigawatt of wind power infrastructure projects. Now let us see how Punjab manages the energy sources. Promotion and development of small micro hydel projects of canal falls. Promotion and development of waste to energy projects. Implementation of Energy Conservation Act. Creating awareness and publicity in masses to adopt non-conventional energy sources and energy saving conservation. Solar passive architecture. Fabrication of mobile exhibition vans. Promotion and development of solar thermal power projects.
Management of minerals. Coal. Government of India has established a development department named as Coal India Limited for the management of coal in India. It has many subsidiaries like Central Coalfields, Eastern Coalfields Limited, Northern Coalfields, South Eastern Coalfields, etc. to manage the coal in different geographical areas of India. These companies undertake the work of extraction of coal from coal mines and transport the coal to different thermal power plants, steel power plants and other utilities. The coal is transported in Andhra Pradesh mainly through Indian Railway train network to far-flung areas. For nearby areas, coal is generally transported through trucks. Total installed capacity of Andhra Pradesh is 16,800 megawatts, out of which 11,771 megawatt is coal-based thermal power generation. The pie chart depicts the share of thermal power, hydropower, nuclear power and renewable power in Andhra Pradesh. Petroleum. Andhra Pradesh has many projects related to oil and gas under different stages of implementation. Government of India has been investing rupees 1 trillion investment in oil and gas fields as well as refinery modernization projects. These projects include modernization of Visakhapatnam by 2022-23 and development of offshore oil and gas fields. Also, investment is being made in on-land fields in KG Basin. Also, state-owned fields in KG Basin of oil and natural gas are developing oil and gas fields. Further, a greenfield petrochemical complex at Kakinada's plant and project is being undertaken by Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited and Gas Authority Limited with support of Andhra Pradesh government. Further, city gas distribution network is being implemented in various districts of Andhra Pradesh. This will help facilitate access to piped natural gas and CNG for household, transport and industrial segments. State-owned firms and private sector are making huge investments in hydrocarbon sector on East Coast in Andhra Pradesh. These projects will usher new dawn of socio-economic prosperity and will facilitate ease of living for citizens of Andhra Pradesh. The onshore crude oil production volume in Andhra Pradesh are given in the bar graph.
Land sustainability and management. Systematic studies were carried out for better land use planning in Andhra Pradesh. As a part of these studies, soil maps are prepared for an area of 26 million hectares in 1:25 million scale. The genesis and morphology of these soils were studied and they were classified. Utilizing these maps and the information generated from 22 automatic weather stations, land use planning was made for crop production on both arable and non-arable areas in all the 22 agricultural districts of Andhra Pradesh. Impact studies were also initiated. Awareness camps were organized for farmers and extension staff for effective use of soil map. Here is a graph showing us how land is distributed in Andhra Pradesh for doing various activities. Suitable crops and cropping systems were identified to suit these soils. The areas deficient in secondary and micronutrients were delineated in all the 22 districts of Andhra Pradesh. Sulfur and zinc were found to be highly deficient in majority of the soils. Soil fertility maps were prepared for all the nutrients. Corrective measures were developed for increasing the crop productivity in nutrient deficient soils both by soil application and through foliar spray. Information was also generated on the extent of saline alkaline and acidic soils of Andhra Pradesh, and location of situation specific reclamation measures were standardized. Information on soil physical constraints affecting crop growth was generated for the soils of Andhra Pradesh. The physical constraints included crusting and hardening, shallow soils, soil erosion and runoff, subsoil hardpan, impeded drainage, and high permeability. These constraints being highly location specific, suitable management practices were developed to make these soils productive. Location specific technologies developed in this regard are incorporation of paddy husk, powdered groundnut shells, composted coir pitch, paddy and sorghum straws, and green leaf manure for soils with crusting and hardening. Formation of edges for shallow soils, contour cultivation, vegetative barriers, and check dams for arresting soil erosion and runoff. Crow bearing, chiseling up to a depth of 30 to 45 cm for soils with subsoil hardpan, subsurface drainage for increasing the productivity of water, locked soils, and addition of tank set clay to reduce the permeability.
What is rainwater harvesting? Have you listened to your teacher discussing about water harvesting? I'm sure you had. One way of conserving water is to conserve rainwater. You can save about 1100 millimeters of rainwater that falls on your roofs in a year. But main question is, what is rainwater harvesting? Rainwater harvesting is simple process or technology to use conserve rainwater by collecting, storing, conveying and purifying of rainwater that runs off from rooftops, roads, open grounds, etc. for later use such as washing clothes, cars, watering plants and many more. Have you ever imagined that how much rainwater is wasted in a year? Let me tell you that about 4,000 to 5,000 liters of rainwater is wasted in a year. This means 1 hectare can harvest enough water to meet the needs of 200 to 300 families. See how much important it is to save rainwater?
India, which is home to 16% of the world's total population, has access to only 4% of the world's total water resources to fulfill its water needs. This limited supply could easily deplete further or be made unusable by overutilization and population. Therefore, the need of the hour is water conservation, or what is referred to as water harvesting. Water harvesting encompasses all the different methods of conserving and collecting rainwater. One such method is rainwater harvesting and another is recharging groundwater. Rainwater harvesting involves either collecting the rainwater directly or recharging it to the ground to improve groundwater storage. And how does rainwater harvesting benefit us? It raises the groundwater level, checks rainwater flow, which prevents soil erosion, prevents rainwater pollution, and helps meet water demands during the dry season. And all of this can be accomplished with nothing more than house rooftops to collect the water and small PVC pipes to channelize the water into underground pits and sumps. Recharging groundwater is the modern version of rainwater harvesting. In this, pits, trenches and dug wells are constructed to collect water. The collected water then feeds and raises the level of groundwater. Did you know that rainwater harvesting is an ancient Indian tradition dating back to 4500 BC? Yes, in fact, it has been practiced for hundreds of years in Assam, Karnataka, Gujarat and Rajasthan. This ancient tradition was given a much-needed impetus by the Government of India with the formulation of the National Water Policy, a policy that provides for the optimum and judicious utilization, management and conservation of India's water resources. The aim of this policy is to link river basins and then transfer water from one basin to another for the optimum use of the available water. The National Water Policy also exhorts the general public to assist the government in its mission to conserve water so as to minimize our water woes.
Recharging groundwater. From the reference of above video, you might be wondering that what is recharging of groundwater? Why to worry? I'm there to explain you. Groundwater recharge can be explained as water added to aquifer through the unsaturated zone after infiltration and percolation following any storm rainfall event. Basically, it means to restore the level of groundwater. I hope you had understood all about the water harvesting.
Rainwater harvesting. What is rainwater harvesting? Rainwater harvesting is a process of collecting rainwater from surfaces on which rain falls, filtering it and storing it for multiple uses. Rainwater harvesting puts the supply of water back to the normal levels. It is the collection and storage of water from surfaces that rain has fallen. Rainwater harvesting in Andhra Pradesh. Rainwater harvesting has been made mandatory in all new buildings with an area of 300 square meter or more. Tentative for enforcing this deadline was 2001. Mandatory to provide RWH in all group housing and commercial complexes. Mandatory for all categories of buildings including residential. All existing buildings in municipal corporations shall construct rainwater harvesting structures within a period of 1 hour from the issue of this goal. Competent authorities shall insist on implementation of RWH in all layouts and subdivisions for sanctioning the same. The Andhra Pradesh Water, Land and Trees Act 2002. It was an act to promote water conservation and tree cover to regulate exploitation and use of ground and surface water for protection and conservation of water sources, land and environmental and matters connected therewith or incidental thereto.
Sustainability of water resources and dams of Andhra Pradesh. Our country is endowed with a rich and vast diversity of natural resources, water being the most precious of them. Water security, water management, and its development is of the immense importance in all walks of human life and also for all living beings. Integrated water management is essential for environmental sustenance, sustainable economic development of the country, and for bettering human life through poverty reduction. The Ministry of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, Government of India is responsible for conservation, management and development of water as a national resource. The ministry has also been allocated the subject of regulation and development of interstate rivers, implementation of awards of tribunals, water quality assessment, bilateral and external assistance, and cooperation programs in the field of water resources and matters relating to rivers common to India and neighboring countries. Geographically, Andhra Pradesh is in peninsular India, consisting of coastal belt on the east and Rayalaseema in the southwest. Therefore, Andhra Pradesh has the advantage of having most of the east-flowing rivers in the state, bringing in copious supplies from the western and eastern Ghats and up to Bay of Bengal. Andhra Pradesh has a heritage of cultivation and irrigation dating back to several centuries. Andhra Pradesh is a riverine state with 40 major, medium and minor rivers. Godavari, Krishna, Vamsadhara, Nagavali and Pennar are major interstate rivers. Godavari river enters at Burgampad Mandal of state of Andhra Pradesh and flows for a distance of around 250 kilometers eastward before joining Bay of Bengal. Major irrigation projects: Ayakat above 25,000 acres or 10,000 hectares. Medium irrigation projects: Ayakat above 5,000 acres up to 25,000 acres or 10,000 hectares. Minor irrigation projects: Ayakat up to 5,000 acres or 2,000 hectares. Polavaram Project Authority: Indira Sagar Polavaram project is located on River Godavari near Rameyapat village, Polavaram Mandal of West Godavari district, Andhra Pradesh. It is a multi-purpose major terminal reservoir project on River Godavari for development of irrigation, hydropower and drinking water facilities to East Godavari, Visakhapatnam, West Godavari and Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh. The ultimate irrigation potential of the project is 4.368 lakh hectare and annual power generation will be 2369.43 million units. In addition, 540 villages will also be provided with drinking water facilities. After declaration of national project since 1 April 2014, additional expenditure of rupees 5,364.16 crore have been incurred till March 2017. Cost of rupees 2,000 crore has been provided in 2018 for this project. Water sector improvement project in Andhra Pradesh. Increase in crop yields 15% to 25% of 5 major crops: paddy, cotton, maize, groundnut and pulses. Productivity is increased in paddy from 35 bags, 75 kg or bag per acre to 45 bags per acre due to availability of adequate water. The farmers have been motivated to use groundwater by digging new wells and promote conjunctive use of surface and groundwater. 184 farmers have sought technical advice from GWD, 124 wells constructed. Demonstrations on improved agricultural and water management practices like mechanized transplantation, drum seeder technology, alternate wetting and drying, integrated crop management, introduction of new varieties in all the major crops. Thank you.
Effect of exploitation of nature. What do you mean by exploiting natural resources? The exploitation of natural resources is the use of natural resources for economic growth, sometimes with a negative connotation of accompanying environmental degradation. Consequences of exploitation of resources: deforestation, desertification, extinction of species, forced migration, soil erosion, oil depletion, ozone depletion, greenhouse gas increase. Images that show over use of natural resources.